Hello, welcome to another QA live stream. We're back again after a long kind of break from the holidays, and now that we're back in a new place, I'm ready to come in and start coming back and doing some of these tutorials. One of the biggest things that I've had people kind of talk about is, let's do more Java. How do we start a Java project and a lot of this, and I totally think that. I'll get there. I'll start doing some more of the Java, especially, Java 11 has a lot of cool features. It's really great, but I really want to show kind of the power of Kotlin, since there's a lot of Java tutorials out there, not a lot of Kotlin tutorials. But with that said, I would like to show how you can take a Java project and move it into Kotlin and how you can have them live together. How you can have a Java and a Kotlin class and how they can talk to each other for those who are kind of still new to some of the automation and coding practices of these languages. You always can learn so much more that, like, you can take a language and tons and tons and tons of courses and still only know maybe 30% of it. Like, even with Kotlin and what I know, I probably only know maybe 30% myself. There's always new things coming out, things that they keep adding to the language. There's always so much more to learn. But since we're here, let's kind of get down into it. Let me zoom in some of the project just so we can see code, and I hope that works for you guys. So I think where we had left off is we had a project over here that shows, how does that look? Maybe we can zoom in just a smidge more. Settings. Let's see. Font. I think we can. Font size. Yep. Okay. We got them there. 14. Let's see. Nope. Oh shoot. Okay. Just want to make sure everyone can see. UI. Appearance. There we go. There it is. Okay, so appearance. Let's move this up to 18 and hit apply. Okay, now it's kind of zoomed in. Hopefully it's easier for everyone to see there. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to throw that in the chat, and I can kind of answer those. Maybe even show you some examples of whatever the ask is. So if you notice here, we have a Java class, and it's kind of talking to, let's see, this name generator class in the pages here, and this is all in Java. So if you notice, we have the Java components and the driver, we have an exe, we have the name generator page. So we have these Java classes. So what we want to do is I'm going to show you a cool way that you can just take your Java project and instantly turn it into Kotlin using IntelliJ. It's three clicks. We'll take the name generator page or component. We'll do the component. Right click, and down at the very bottom here, I don't know if you could see that, the very bottom, it says convert Java file to Kotlin file. And by clicking this button, this will automatically take your Java file and turn it into Kotlin. So we hit that button. It's thinking. Some code in the rest of your project may require corrections after performing this conversion. Do you want to find such code and correct it too? Say yes, because you want to make sure everything works. It auto-configured it automatically. Usually these are from like more complex files or larger files. It's telling me it's not configured with Kotlin yet, which we'll get into in a second. But in a nutshell, if you notice, this file at the top right says navigation component.kt and not .java. So now we've converted this into a KT, which is the Kotlin extension file name. And if you notice, the code changed a little bit. Let's undo that. Let's compare the two. Let's look at the two side by side. We'll copy this, paste it, and we'll name this component Kotlin, just to differentiate the two, just so we know what the two are. So we have the Kotlin one, and we're gonna have the Java one. So I'm gonna right click, and I'm going to convert this over. Say yes. All right. So we have we can even split this vertically, and look at the two together. So if we look at these two, what are the major differences here? Highlighting, first off, it's probably the most obvious highlighted of find bys and stuff. But what you notice is it doesn't have this public anymore. You don't have to. It doesn't have the public. It is listed up in the top here. Where Kotlin, again, they do a lot of things that shorten the syntax to make it not so verbose, like Java is notorious for. And if you notice, instead of having to say, okay, we need to specify our constructor, and then we need to call super, pass the driver, so on and so forth, it automatically does that here in the Kotlin file, where this is your constructor, which requires the driver, and this driver is referencing the one that you pass in, and you're just passing it into the extended class. So already cleaning this up makes it so much simpler, and just less text in the files. And once you kind of get used to this, it'll start to just be beneficial in how fast you type and how fast you kind of get things going and rolling in your projects. So one of the things we can do is we can hit this configure, which will say configure Java with Maven and so on and so forth. We'll automatically do it, but then we'll do it manually just to show. So all module contain Kotlin files. Yes, let's do all modules. Just cut down the whole thing. Here we go. So it's doing a bunch of stuff. Configure Kotlin was modified. Now it's running processes down below. We're gonna let it wait. Yep, we thank you for letting us know. So what happened just now, right? When you configured everything, a couple things. First and foremost, it added the dependencies here, the two dependencies here. You have your standard lib JDK8 and then the Kotlin test, Kotlin dependencies. And these are for if you're writing tests in Kotlin. So this dependency here, this is the main one. This is the one that's really important. This pretty much allows you to have all of the Kotlin kind of libraries that are required for you to write Kotlin inside your Maven project. And then down below here in this chunk of plugin XML, they added the Maven plugin, which allows you to compile and then test compile everything in your project. Now, I guess it could do it manually, but really, at the end of the day, this is it. You would just write this out as is. For Maven, right? If you're running the compile stage or phase, whatever you want to call it, goal. Maybe I can't remember the nomenclature there. I want you to compile all the Kotlin stuff. Then same with test-compile. This one we probably don't need. But we'll just leave it. It doesn't hurt to leave it. But what is this one? Oh, this is just the Maven compiler. Okay. So really, all we're doing is literally just adding these dependencies. Now, one of the cool things that, IntelliJ does automatically for you is create these properties up here so that all you can do, you can just edit if you want to, go down to an older version. I can't think of an older version at the moment, but you can just change this number. Will change your version for both of these dependencies. I highly recommend doing that. Another one actually I think would be good is, you say testng version, spell it correctly, and you can type whatever you want for these properties in Maven. So I can name this whatever I want. Literally that could be my name, and it's not really helpful or does have no idea what the context is for this. But and the cool thing here is that allows you to set things for the top of your POM file, and then anything that you want to specify, you can put it as a variable. So for this, I can say $, paste testng version. So if testng ever changes a version, I can change it to the next one, and then it will auto install the new one. I just guessed. It looks like that doesn't exist, but let's put it back to 0. But essentially, this is a good place to kind of put all of your properties up top. So all you got to do is change it in one spot, and then it can be seen for the rest of your POM file. So that's also kind of a neat, handy trick there to know what to do with properties in your Maven POM file. So coming back to the Kotlin Java, we created our, trying to show you the differences here, and I'll split these for all the different files that we convert over. But one of the things I really wanted to show here is the differences. So I'm going to delete this file and convert. Okay, and I would like to convert our actual navigation component file into Kotlin. So we'll do that real quick. So turn to KT. Now, one of the things you'll notice is when you convert this is still in this Java package, and we want it to put in a Kotlin package. So we can do the following, which is goals, and then is it execution? Or is it configuration? Source directory. Here we go. The source directory. Can we put this somewhere else? No. Let's do this. Let's see. If I want to create source main Kotlin, can I do that? Let's see. I think you're just gonna have to create. I was trying to see if I can get IntelliJ to auto create these for me, but for now, we're just gonna create them ourselves. So in your source main, we're gonna go to new directory, and we'll just name this one Kotlin. But similar to your Java, you should do the same kind of syntax which would be com.tools and taverns. There we go. And there you go. We have our source main Java and our source main Kotlin. One of the things we could probably do is probably set this as a source just to tell our project, hey, this is a source path. Just make it set as such. So we'll go to File, Project Structure, Kotlin. Let's see, Source, Kotlin, and we're gonna make this a source as well. And we'll say Apply. Okay. Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. So we want to, now that we have Kotlin and we have our tools and taverns, we're going to do the same kind of layout just to keep it consistent across both, right? So let's create our new package, and we'll call this components. And, oh, come on. Okay, let's delete that. Let's do this right. New package and type it correctly. Components. Okay, that's fine. And we'll move our new Kotlin file into components. And I also noticed that there's a typo here, so let's move it in there. Why are you not moving? Just refactor, that's fine. I'm going to change this typo here. Let's refactor, rename, and we're going to change out this R. Okay, there we go. And let's delete all of our typo stuff. Totally messed up there on those typos, but that's fine. So essentially now we have the following. We have our Kotlin navigation component that I moved out of Java into Kotlin that's still being used by our Java classes. So this is one of the things, we don't need to install this yet. So where is our navigation component being used? In the tests. And if you notice, your project doesn't throw any errors. It doesn't see that, just because you're using Kotlin, like it's really easy to have your Java use your Kotlin files, no problem. It sees them as the same thing. Essentially, when we created our Kotlin files or our tests, and we had to pull in the Selenium driver, that's in Java, and we're using Java libraries that are being used in writing it in Kotlin. So, at the end of the day, all these languages like Kotlin, Java, Scala, closure. You know, they're all JVMs based, so that at the end they all compile into the same type of bytecode. So I just wanted to show you a good. So let's convert some more and just kind of see what that kind of looks like for us. So we have this pages over here. So let's what does this look like? Let's do a comparison again, just like we did before. Let's go and split it, and we will actually, we need to copy it. Let's copy our file, paste. So this will be the Kotlin version, just to see the differences here. So so we have our Kotlin, and we have our Kotlin's on the left and our regular Java's on the right. So let's take the Kotlin and turn it, like I said, right click all the way down, convert Java file to Kotlin file. It's thinking, hit yes, and boom. So there's gonna be a couple problems here, and let's dive into what these problems are. So one of the things that I notice is it's telling us the the following declarations have the same JV signature. So we'll get into this in 1 second. But one of the things you notice, it looks pretty much the same, just like last time. The constructor got passed up into the top here. Instead of having to, 3 lines of code, you just add it into the same line, right? Less code. Now, one of the things that happens in Kotlin, and I kind of explained this before, is every variable you add, foo, let's just say this equals, it's a string, right? Every variable you create like this auto creates getters and setters in Kotlin. So those exist. So if who's using this name generator, this one. Okay, let's create, just to show you, we're gonna add private name. Was it name generator page Kotlin? Name generator page Kotlin. Name generator page Kotlin. I want to show you something. I created that foo, right, in this file here. I know this is compilation error. We'll get to that, but so if I come down to the code and I specify our new name generator, this one, this guy right here, if I hit dot, notice how it has a get foo right here already at the top, get foo, and then if I type in set, you can't set it because it is a final. I put val here because it's a final. If I put var, I should see a set now. See, set foo. So already there's a get foo and a set foo. So they auto create these functions for you. And so that's what we're getting right now is there's this generate names, because in Java, they don't auto do that for you on the right-hand side here. So I created a get generated names, but in Kotlin, because generated names already exists, get generated names, that's already there. So it's saying, hey, you've already established this function, so let's let's fix that. So instead of get generated names, let's say get generated names list, just to make it different. So now you notice all the failures are gone, and yeah. So one of the second things that you'll notice here is that it's yelling that you put this function and it has all this dot collection, list, string, and it's all of this garbage here. One of the things I dislike about this auto turn into Kotlin is you get a lot of this stuff kind of put in here, and then it makes it really complicated. And really, all you have to do is really look to see, like, what can I remove from here? So one of the things I remove instantly are these streams. Unless you're actually trying to use some kind of stream or buffer or any kind of thing like that, sure, use it. But in this case, we don't need to use that. So I'm going to take out the stream. Next, you don't need to specify in the map. You don't need to do that. Thirdly, in map, we're going to, it's saying just put this function web element string. We also don't need that. So we're going to cut that out, and we're going to cut out these parentheses. So already look how much cleaner that was just by deleting all of that. And this is complaining that, don't use the getter. You should just use the property access syntax, which is just dot text. Kind of like foo. Don't need to do get foo. You can just say foo. And then lastly, you have this collection, all this stuff. You don't need to do any of that. If you want to put this to a list, you can just say to list. Look how clean. We can actually put this on one line. That's how clean it is, right? One nice line here versus what we had over here, all of this kind of fancy stuff we were doing before. We don't need to do that anymore. Here we are. So totally, made this look a lot better. Now, one of the problems is we're doing this on our Kotlin file and not on our actual file. So let's do that now. Just one more time. We're going to delete this and make the same changes we did before. Delete anyways. Yeah, we were just using this for test. So let's get rid of all that code. Okay, now let's do it the right way. Or do it for real this time. So let's go to our name generator page, convert Java file to Kotlin. Here we go. Same problem, but except for names we'll just say list to just make the distinction between the two. And we'll, again, remove all of this and just add the brackets. We will just turn this into text. Nope, not test. Oh my gosh. I am fumbling everywhere. Here we go. And again, we just want to do to list. Dot to list. There we go. And again, we don't want the stream, and we have our map. So we're changing names dot map to list. So yeah, and then this can stay the same, which is great. Now, one of the things you'll notice is that before we're using this var and doing null and all that. Ideally, if you wanted to do, there's two ways to do this. You can do it that way. I've showed this before. I'll show it one more time. Is you can also do something like this and do a late init. Where do you late init? Why don't you do late init? Can I go over here? Late. Oh, I can't do late init. Val. I can only do late init var, right? Yeah, that's right. You can't. You could do this as well, and one of the things about this is this will give you the option to remove the null check. They both have their pros and cons. This check, the null check, at least you can say that, oh well, I don't know if it's been created yet, so I can always check if it's null before actually trying to use it. Versus if you try to just reference it at all, it will, and it was never initialized, it will yell at you. It's kind of flavor of how you want to write it. It's all the same. I like to get rid of nulls. I don't really like having nulls floating around code to the best of my ability, but it is what it is. This selenium library is all in Java, so you are going to have those nulls floating around, where in Kotlin they definitely have the ability to make it so that nulls don't float around. So anyways, so we kind of moved there, and one of the things, if we move this, we should also put it correctly in our components page. So if I do this, cancel. Actually, we want to move this into not components, we want to move it into pages. Refactor. That didn't work. Why did that work? Oh, because it doesn't exist. Let's just refactor real quick, and then we will refactor, rename. Nope. We want to move it. We want to move it. Why can't we move it? What is the move thing? Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna create it. Just create a package. I know there's a way. I can't think of where it is right now. Pages. There we go. Now we'll move our page to pages correctly. So there we go. So now we have our Kotlin page and components. Now again, you'll see no difference in your tests, right? We already went through this. Oh wait, timeout. Because we changed it. It's get generated names list. There we go. So still Java, yet we have Kotlin. So again, one of the cool things you can kind of do to have these live together in harmony, and don't have any of those problems of I want to learn Kotlin. How do I get my Java project to Kotlin, and I can start writing Kotlin? And again, you still have your Kotlin stuff, your Java here, so you can still write your next test and everything in Java, no problem. It's just a matter of moving Kotlin, how to move into Kotlin. So, if you have any questions about any of this, guys, please, throw it into the stream, anytime. I would love to go over any of the examples or anything you have, or even example projects. Again, it'd be really great to kind of look at some people's, hobby projects, or if you're just learning and you're like, hey, what am I doing wrong? How can I make this better? And things of that nature. Next up, something I kind of wanted to touch upon would be how to name your tests correctly. Now, historically, I have been doing this not to the kind of standard that exists in the kind of industry for tests, and I think it'd be good to start kind of doing that. And I kind of want to show you guys really quick how you can start writing your tests with better test names. Really quick, let's just kind of dive into what we have here, just in front of us. But if you notice, it says test name generator. Now, what does that mean? You have no context, no idea what this test does. If someone's like, hey, really quick, if you just gave names of all your tests, could someone look at that and say, I know exactly what this is testing? No. So one of the things they usually like to do is you divide this into kind of broken up into, you say test, and then you kind of have your state, and then you have your actions, and then you have your expected result. This is kind of a good way to kind of have and you do have the underscores. That is totally something that exists. Having test, may not need. You can probably do without, but it's always good to have that extra, hey, this is a test, just in case someone tries to reference it or something. And let's give you an example here. So we have test name generator, but what is this actually doing, right? We're going to this page. We are clicking, what is this? It is telling us that this could be null. Because of this. We'll get back to that in a second. But what is it doing? It's clicking the navigator link, it's getting the names, it selects female, human, clicks the generate button, and verifies the names. Let's see, it takes the names list again, names after. So you take them before, on load, you take them after, and then you cert false that the names, actually let's read, anything that matches the onload. Make sure that none of the new generated names are contained within the names load. So essentially we have anything that first loaded and we make a change, nothing should equal, right? So that is what the end result is. However, I'm going to kind of remove this. Instead of any match, I'm just going to put any, and then I'm going to put in name. Oh wait, we're in Java. Started writing Kotlin in Java. That would be weird. So let's actually, so that's what we do. We go get names, change and generate new names, make sure those names, none of those equal each other, right? They have to be different. So what we're going to do is our state. Our state will be, going to the name generators page, right? So from the name, actually we'll leave this here and we'll do it here. It's test underscore name generator page underscore select female human generated names do not match from page load. Now, you're looking at this and you're like, oh my gosh, QA-Automan, why is this thing so long? And that is okay. It is okay for it to be super long. There's the standard probably like maybe 50 characters or something. But at the end of the day, like this is, you definitely, if you look at this, you now have a very clear understanding of what this test does. I think it's really important to start kind of doing this. And if you haven't done this, go back and start changing these and do the same, the similar kind of changes, because this will make your code much more readable. You don't have to put a ton of comments. I mean, you can still put comments and say, this test, like you can still do that and that's fine. But this is what you'll see in results. This is what you'll see when you run your stuff on Java or Jenkins and all that stuff. So, please, I definitely start looking this out. And if you don't take my word for it, there's a lot of articles out there and there's a lot of Stack Overflow that will kind of explain all of this for you. So, please, feel free to, take a look at yourself, and see what you think. We're coming up, kind of to the 30-minute mark. It looks like, I kind of went through everything I wanted to, for this kind of stream. If anyone has any questions, please ask them. But I thank you guys, who did come in. I know I'm gonna start getting back into this, and I'll start, setting up a proper, having this properly happen every week. So I apologize, and please, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell just so you can start seeing when I appear on live stream. But hopefully I'm gonna start doing more of this. I definitely want to start moving into how to build your projects in Jenkins and all of that stuff, and start thinking about some really cool things, and how to run on Selenium Grid and all that stuff. So again, thank you guys so much for coming in, and until then, I will see you guys online.